Here is a story from China. This is about a young, brave girl called Gumlin and the golden key. The situation was very bad. There had been no rain for months and months. The few plants that were left were choking with thirst. The ground was hard and dry. The people were obliged to travel further and further to find even the smallest bamboo stalks to eat. One day, Gumlin, in search of food for her family, wandered deep into a thick, hilly forest, miles from her home. And that is when she saw it. She rubbed her eyes in disbelief. Was she dreaming? In front of her lay an enormous reservoir, filled with clear blue water, and all around it grew hundreds and hundreds of bamboo plants, tall and green, bending gently in the soft wind. Gathering all that she could carry, Gumlin hurriedly returned to her village with her precious bamboo treasure. All through the long night, she tossed upon her sleeping mat. So much water in the forest where few can drink it. I must find a way to bring that water closer. In her dream, she devised a plan. She would attach the tube-like bamboo stalks together to make a path for the water to flow through. This canal would lead back to her village. There would be enough water for everyone. Early the next morning, Gumlin wrapped her long black braids into a bun and made her preparations for the hard work ahead. She found an old shovel and axe and rapidly slipped out the door without waking her parents. After several hours of hiking in the sweltering heat, she at last reached her destination. Wasting no time, she began searching for just the right place to begin her waterway. She needed to build a spout at the rim of reservoir so that the water could pour out like tea from a teapot. She searched and searched around the huge lake, but couldn't find just the right spot to begin her digging. A thick grove of trees blocked one side, and there were huge rocky boulders on the other. Just when she was beginning to lose all hope, she suddenly noticed something hidden behind the trees. "Oh my goodness, a secret stone gate," she said to herself. Gumlin eagerly grabbed the rusty old door handle, but the door didn't budge. Then she tried tugging and pushing it with all her force, but still the door remained closed. It was so thick and tightly bolted that even her axe was of no use. She wondered, what shall I do now? And then, as if in answer to her question, she heard a strange voice. When she turned to see where it came from, all she could see was a wild grey swan that had made its way almost to where she stood at the edge of the reservoir. Again she heard the voice. "These waters are yours, once you find the golden key." There was no one else in sight, but by the time she thought to ask the wild swan if it had truly spoken, and if so, where this special key might be found, the graceful bird had already made its way across the wide lake. Needing time to solve the puzzle, Gumlin absently wandered along a path of crooked cypress trees. Lost in thought, she hardly noticed that 3 brightly coloured birds had perched themselves upon a nearby branch. They sang out in perfect chorus, "The daughter of the dragon, the daughter of the dragon." And no sooner had they sung this than they flew off into the air, waving farewell with their colourful wings. "Wait a minute, come back," Gumlin called out to them, but they were gone. How curious, she thought. I wonder where I can find the dragon's daughter. Her mind was alert now. She wouldn't let any more answers escape her. So when a peacock then appeared, spreading out its magnificent tail, she listened closely. This time, the message did not come from its beak. It came instead from its ruffling tail feathers. Go to the edge of Yetiyu, Wild Swan Lake. Stand upon its banks and sing the songs of your people. Make your voice loud and clear, so that the daughter of the dragon may hear you. If your songs please her, she will come to you. And then the peacock folded its fan of eyes into a long tail and slowly waddled away. She rushed back to the water's edge. At last I know what to do, Gumling thought. But which songs shall I sing? In her short life she had only known drought, thirst and misery. But the elders had taught her songs of the old days when everything was beautiful and perfect. So she took a deep breath and began to sing in her sweetest voice about thick green grass, fragrant flowers and white snow on faraway mountain tops. She sang song after song. Nothing happened. Having no more beautiful songs to sing, she began to despair. The only other tunes she knew were about the hardships of village life. Surely if the other songs had not brought the dragon's daughter forth, these would please her even less. But what else could she do? They were proud songs of poor peasants who worked so very, very hard, and of the loving kindness they gave to one another when there was little else to give. Gumlin was so touched by her own sad songs that large tears swelled in her eyes. Wiping the tears away, she suddenly noticed that Lo Yi Lung, the dragon's daughter, had emerged from the waters of the lake. Oh, I am so grateful that you have come. My people are dying because they have no water. I was told that you could give me the key to the gate. The key is in my father's cavern in the deepest part of the lake, Lo Yi Lung replied. He guards it as he jealously guards all his worldly treasures. I hate to say it, but my father is quite greedy. Even I, his own daughter, am not allowed to go in there. But I have a plan that might work. Often when I sing just outside the cave, my father crawls closer to listen to my songs. Perhaps if we sing together, our voices might bring him to the entrance. And while I continue to sing, you could slip past him and search for the key. Without fear for her own safety, the courageous girl swam towards her new friend. I am ready, she announced. Together they glided toward the entrance of the cave. Would the plan work? It had to. Lo Yi Lung took Gumlin's hand in her webbed claw, and the two began to sing in perfect harmony. As predicted, the selfish dragon could not resist this enchanting music. Slithering forward, he worked his way towards the entrance of the cave. When the moment seemed right, Lo Yi Lung gave the signal to Gumlin. Wasting no time, she swam cautiously past the dragon. Her eyes widened as she entered deeper and deeper into the cave. she found herself surrounded by trunks and vessels piled high with gold coins and precious gems. For a moment, she was tempted to stuff her pockets with jewels and gold, for with them she could move her family to a better land. But no, she had come here with a mission. She had to get the key and release the water. She had to save her village. Just at that moment, she knocked over a small ivory box. As it fell, its contents tumbled into the watery stone floor, and there, swimming in a sea of pearls, lay the golden key. Delighted, she grabbed it and tucked it safely into her pocket. For the second time, Gumlin managed to pass unnoticed by the contented, dreamy-eyed dragon. Reaching the place where Lo Yi Lung still sang, she smiled to show that their plan had worked. Side by side, they swam to the edge of the lake, to the place where the stone gate stood. Gumling trembled as she slipped the key into the rusty lock. She pulled at the door handle with all the strength of her small arms, until at last the door flew open, and from it gushed forth fresh, blue, drinkable water. With disbelieving eyes, they both watched as it powerfully pushed its way forward. It covered empty rice fields, it filled empty water holes, and it carved its own canals over dry rocks and the hard dirt ground. The current was so strong that it poured right into her village, filling the wells and even the empty cups of the amazed villagers. Gumlin ran along the riverbank while Lo Yi Lung swam beside her. Realizing that his precious key had been stolen, the frustrated dragon bellowed loudly behind them. Now, normally we are taught that stealing is a bad thing to do. And usually it is. But hadn't the dragon stolen the water in the first place? Perhaps one day he would understand all this. We can only hope so. But in the meanwhile, the dragon's daughter found herself a new little lake next to Gumlin's house. There the two new friends spent hours in peaceful harmony. In fact, everyone lived in peaceful harmony. The days of thirst and hunger were over. Gumlin and Lo Yi Lung had saved the village.